Are you are you part of like a Facebook group, or was there something that was advertised that?
Um, I took the second field on the dispatch. My friend was telling me about it, and I just started watching the video. He was talking about the video, and I was like, man, I had not got this.
Okay, you were a little choppy there. I didn't hear a little bit.
I said, I bought the Truck and Guru course.
You bought a course from somebody?
Yeah, I bought a course from somebody. You know, my friend told me about you, and I was watching your videos, and you be dropping jewels, and I just like what I was hearing.
Okay. Yeah, there's a seminar I'm having Saturday. I didn't know if you were part of the Facebook group, Dispatcher 101, or you just you know. So you are interested in being a dispatcher, freight broker, trucking company?
I'm already a dispatcher. I mean, I've got like 3 semis up under me already, but it's just the way you be going about it, getting the drive. I've been using your techniques and stuff like that. It's just like when I start watching your videos, stuff just starts clicking.
Oh, okay. So what equipment types you got under you?
I got 1 semi and 2 drive-ins.
So you got 2 drive-ins and you got a what was the other one?
One flatbed.
Okay. So 1 flatbed and 2 drive-ins. You keeping them rolling?
I just picked up the other drive-in this week, and the flatbed been doing the best. The drive-in guy, he kind of want to stay in Atlanta. He don't really like going out. So load, just finding local loads, that's a little bit hard. But this guy should be ready. The other guy I picked up this week, he should be ready to roll in the next 2 days. But he's willing to go wherever. So I'm hoping that pan out real good.
So now these carriers that you have, are they new carriers? Like have they new MC authority, or they've been running?
No, I found them off of that power board. Now, I think one guy been driving for 5 years, and the other
okay
had it for at least 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so you got everything in place. You got all your documents that you need from the drivers, W-9, MC authority, certificate of insurance.
I got all that. I got a nice little office set up.
And you got a DAT power login load board?
I got DAT power, and I got 1, 2, 3, and I got that Trucker's Edge or Trucker Path.
Yeah, Trucker's Edge.
Yeah. But that line you be using, are you sitting or are you waiting to be loaded? Hey, I get them every time.
Are you under a load or looking for a load?
Yeah, that work every time. I got your whole little thing wrote down in my notebook.
So who did you get your initial training from?
It's a lady named Tiara. She called herself the Trucking Guru.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of her. So does she teach like similarly, or?
I mean, hers is really just a lot of reading, but she don't teach like you do. Like I mean, like you be showing folks how to call folks and how to talk to these that trucking lingo. Cause like with that flatbed thing, I never knew about the skateboard, and when I be saying that to them drivers, they be like, "Okay, this guy know what he's talking about."
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. See, I used to be a carrier, so it's good. If you're going to have somebody trained, it would be a good idea to have somebody who's actually used to be a carrier that knows the. And I'm not saying that the Trucking Guru does not. I don't know. Tiara, but I'm just saying it's just a good concept to have.
I didn't know nothing about asking about a headache rack and do they have this type of stuff. When I'm asking these drivers these questions that I'm learning from your videos, they like, okay, this guy know what he's talking about.
Exactly, and that's the whole point that I try to get across. When you speak to carriers, you increase your chances of getting a carrier when you speak their language and they see that you understand what it is you're talking. Even also too on the expense side, you ask them, how much you want per mile, and they're gonna say, well, You know, I don't know. You tell me. Well, then now, if a carrier says that to me, I don't know. You tell me. Then I'm gonna say, okay. Well, what is your break even after all your expenses? How much are you trying to make per mile to make yourself a profit? Well, my break even is $2 a mile, so I want to make $2.25, $2.50 a mile. You know, so that'll show a carrier too that you have a little bit of understanding of finances.
I got it.
And that you're going to look for loads that are going to either match or exceed, I would say exceed their break-even point. So, you know.
Yeah, like I think on one of your videos you were saying, and like I like the other day, and I even let the driver know, was like the load was paying like 2,500. So I asked the broker off the rip for an extra $250 to carry over his what his fees gonna be, for the little 10%. And I told him that I did that. I feel like you really ain't even paying me, so I asked the broker for an extra $250. So really, this was a pretty low for you. He's like, word for real? I was like, yeah.
There you go. So there you go. That's how you do it.
So let me ask you, if I buy your course, does it come with, do you get access to the load boards? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so under Dispatcher 101, if you enroll in the Dispatcher 101, you'll have access to the back office. You'll enroll, then you'll go through the back office setup to set you up an email and password, go through the orientation video. Business setup, I haven't put anything in there yet, but I still talk about it. So modules 1 through 4, which is probably what you're already doing.
Yeah, I already know.
Yeah, you're asking about load boards. So the load boards you're gonna have access to on this page here. And you got one. I don't know how you got that power, because that's a broker level load board, unless you're
I'm paying $200 a month for the dispatch.
Right. So they must have got something going on with that. That power lets you search loads, search trucks, post loads, and post trucks. So you got all the features.
Yeah, but I be getting more calls when I go to I think it's called Post Everywhere.
Right. And you know what? I used to have that one. So what Post Everywhere does is you post one time and it touches about 32 load boards simultaneously. That's why you're getting all those calls, because you hit one time and it's gonna touch all these different boards.
See, every morning I make 2 bait loads.
Right. To get carriers to call you, and then once they call you, then you'll go ahead and try to hook them.
I just dispatched that load out, but I got loads like this all the time, and they be like, oh, okay, so let me give you my number, email, and we go from there.
Right, and then you get them under dispatcher agreement or.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So under this one, you get the load board logins, which is right here, the PDF of the actual load boards. I'm gonna click this. 123 load board. Dat Trucker's Edge.
You got the pro version or you got the regular version?
Of what? That
Trucker's Edge, because I'm using the pro version now.
Yeah, I just have the regular version of the 34.99. Now I'm thinking about upgrading to the pro.
Because you don't like that 15 days where they let you know like what the load's been going for 15 days, because that's good when you're talking to a broker.
Right. It kind of gives you a competitive edge.
Mm-hmm.
So 123 load board, Dat Trucker's Edge. I may upgrade it to Pro. Of course, Trucker's Path, Next Load, A1 Freight, Free Freight Search, and Dog. And then I also got, which I haven't put in here, Internet Truck Stop. So.
And I see on all your videos you be using Internet Truck Stop. So you like Internet Truck Stop better than DAT?
the version. Well, what I have, I like the navigational features of Internet Truck Stop.
Okay.
So the navigational features of Internet Truck Stop are pretty good. So it's more user friendly, you know. Cookies are blocked and not supported on this plugin. So yeah.
I guess my hardest thing was with this whole dispatching thing was coming up with scripts. I mean, you know, this with the data driver. But like I said, I started watching your videos about a month ago, and you called this black guy. He just went on, and I was like, okay, this is easy. I can do this. I'm gonna write down what he's saying, and after that, it started working.
Right. See, because you got to, in some cases, you listen to them, and once you get past the listening part, because truckers can talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta be that ear. And once they, and then you throw that that little net, that fish, that hook in there to them every now and then, so you can bait them in. So, but yeah, but you got it though. You got it. But yeah, those are the low. You were asking the question. Those are the.
You know what? Like I said, I really appreciate the YouTube videos. So I have learned more from you in a month's time than I learned from spending $800 on her stuff. I mean, just watching your videos, just how to talk to her.
Wow, she charged that much for it? What all did you get?
Now it's like $650, but when I bought it, I paid $850.
Wow, Jesus Christ!
And I was gonna go to that dude. What's his name? Alex Goodman.
Alex Burton.
Or whatever his name. His course at the time was almost like $1,500.
Whew.
There's another dude on here. I think he's part of that same group that you from, RBS.
Calvin.
He's just talking a little too much to me.
Yeah, I came up 3 years ago. I went through RBBS and I was dealing with that, and then we just had irreconcilable differences. So I'll just leave it at that. So I'm more on integrity and teaching the basics, because people were asking a lot of questions that were not getting answered on a basic level. So I said, well, let me formulate a platform that will address all these unanswered questions, right? So, and that's what I did.
The only thing that, I mean, really, what I wanted from you, reason why I was going to buy your course, because I seen on there you got like scripts and emails, and I didn't know if it was something in there different than what you be saying on your video.
Well, for the most part, it's the same. Every now and then it may switch up, but generally, it's the same.
Okay.
So, but
so you got that stuff in your ebooks, or that's just in a course?
Well, the ebooks are included. If you were to enroll, the ebooks are included in the enrollment. You'll get the ebooks, because when you go to load board.
But see, what I'm saying is, I mean, I know the load boards, I know the paperwork, I know how to check off everything, but only thing I wanted was the marketing part of your course. But if I paid $200 or $300 just to get that, I would have done it.
Right. Yeah, the marketing part is pretty much what you see in YouTube. As I add different strategies to it, it'll change, but for the most part, you mean as far as marketing to the carriers?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, marketing to the carriers is either directly to the direct calling, or the text scripts, the email scripts. The visiting the truck stops that are in your location wherever you are. Like
Well,
I'm sure there's truck. Yeah, so you probably got some pilots, some Flying J's, TAs, Loves, all types of truck stops around you.
Yeah, maybe all that.
So let me ask you this: how many trucks are you looking to scale your business to? How many can you handle by yourself at one time? Like 5? You probably can keep 5 loaded.
Be honest with you, I mean, the way I got stuff set up here with my whiteboard, computer, and all that stuff, I probably can do 10 because I'm very organized with my Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. But I want to scale it up as high as I can. I mean, I want to hire some more dispatchers.
Right, and the key to that is to get brokers and get dedicated lanes and put equipment types that are similar, in those lanes. So if you got a lane that has dry vans and the shipper or the broker has a ton of loads in that lane, then go after carriers of those equipment types and then put those carriers in those lanes, and that way you keep them running off and you ain't got to watch them no more because they're dedicated.
Well, every day I try to get up, I try to call 25 direct shippers. And I got about 6 now, but it's just a matter. I mean, they send me their email list of what work they got, but it's just a matter of the driver being in that area or where they got from. And that's what's always conflicting. That's why I need to build up, get more drivers.
Right. It's going to be a challenge. I don't know how much success you've had with dealing with direct shippers, because direct shippers, they work directly with carriers and brokers. They don't work with dispatchers. Now, unless you're verbalizing your conversations with them, like you saying, I manage a fleet of trucks.
I got that locked down.
Right, you say
a lot of times I'm a dispatcher too, and I just stop after I watch one of your videos, because I'd be like, I'm a dispatcher, I got about 20 trucks, and I'm looking for some new lanes. Y'all need help moving some of y'all freight. And they be like, yeah.
There you go. So now you got to ask them, well, now they're going to say, well, we need your setup information. So you're going to have to send, so now you're going to have to perform. If they got the feeling that you have 10, 15, 20 trucks, they're thinking it's coming from the same trucking company. But if you're sending them information about one truck or one company with 3 or 4 trucks, they're going to look at it a little bit different, because their job, they're going to send a load tender to you or whoever, in your company, so you can, see if you have the capacity to run those loads for that shipper. So now you've gotten past the gatekeeper, so now you got to strategize how you want to play that, because now you're moving on to the next phase in that process. So
if I got a whole bunch of different MC numbers, you think that's going to throw up a red flag?
You took the words right out of my mouth. A lot of MC numbers are going to throw up a red flag, because they were like, well, damn, we talked to this guy and he said he manages a trucking company, or he has a lot of trucks. We didn't realize he had a lot of different trucks from different carriers, as opposed to having a lot of trucks under the same authority and under the same trucking company. That's what we were expecting as a shipper. We wasn't expecting a lot of trucks with different MC numbers. Now, I mean, if you want, I personally wouldn't do it, but if you want to see how far that process goes, just to get the experience to see if you get past that point or you don't, just for future reference, then by all means go for it. Because the worst that can happen is they just say no. You just move on you just learn from that experience, and then you move on, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't lose anything. You don't miss what you never had, right? You never got the contract, so you're not going to miss it. You're going for it right now. You're at the stage of going for it. You got past the gatekeeper, so now it's your time to perform in regards to providing them with assets to meet their capacity. What I mean is the assets are the trucks, and meeting their capacity are all the lanes. They're difficult lanes. And when you come in talking to shippers, even brokers, you ask them, well, what are your difficult lanes? What are the lanes that you're having the most challenge with? Give me those lanes and let me perform to prove to you that I'm able to do what I'm claiming that I can do right now. So that's a marketing and a strategy that you, and a sales pitch that you would give to.
Give me the most difficult one. I like that.
Yeah, because if you conquer that challenge, then they're going to love you for life. They're going to always be calling you, and they're going to actually call you too much. But that's fine. I'd rather have too many calls than not enough.
Yeah, well, anytime you solve a problem, you're going to make money.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. So you start off with, what's your challenging lane? What's your most challenging lane? What's the most lanes you're having difficulty with? What's the most lanes that you give to carriers or trucking companies, and they drop the ball on? So, we got this one lane that's going here, man. We always seem to have trouble with this lane, man. Carriers don't seem to complete it correctly. They drop off the load. There's always claims. Things are damaged. They'll start talking to you, and as they're talking to you, write that stuff down. Right, because these are the things that you don't want to do as a carrier once you get that contract. So you're taking notes, right? Because you ask that open-ended question, and then the shippers they're gonna talk to you like a saying that I can do it, because you don't want to commit to something that you can't perform. That's the worst thing you can do. So you got to be able to know that you can perform. So even before calling the shipper, you have to have that mindset. Can I perform this? Am I in a position, or at least prepared to be in a position with my carriers, whether it's dry-van, flatbeds, or reefers? Because I'm calling a specific shipper. The shipper I'm calling, I've done the research. I know about the company, so when I'm calling them, I'm educating them.
So, and that's like I say, that's the difference in, I guess, training styles, because with her, and what you say make a whole lot of sense. With her training is like, get up in the morning and call 35 shippers, but never did she say one time that when you start sending in all these different MC numbers, you're going to run into a red flag.
Right. Yeah, so that training there is, when you run into the red flag, the trainer should have educated you and say, okay, when you run into this red flag, this is what is expected, and this is how to deal with it. This is, you're going to hit this obstacle. Now this is how you deal with it. So if that wasn't done, or at least attempted to be done, I'm sorry that it wasn't, but because in this industry, that's going to always happen. You're going to have obstacles. So
I appreciate it.
So looking forward to you considering coming on board.
Yeah, come on board.
Yeah, Robert just asked a question. He said, "What up, Charles? Do you have a network with now?" Yeah, Robert, you was asking about a broker.
Yeah, can you hear me right quick? You got a broker you can call right quick. Just, chat with a little bit. Get some information from him.
Gotcha. Okay. So while I'm doing that, Tamaran, you any other questions or?
No, I'm good. I'm just listening and learning.
So now, what is your dialogue when you call brokers?
Like I'm asking for a load.
Yeah. So if you're on a load board and you found a load and you're reaching out to the broker to possibly book that load for your carrier, and you want to get the load details of the load and things like that, then
I have all the information wrote down, where it's going from and where it's dropped off, where it's getting dropped off at, and I just call them. And like I say, I use that DAT Truckers Edge, the pro version, and depending on what that rate is, it's saying, you know, I got the 15-day rate, so I count it. So like if it might say the load is $1,100 with a 15-day rate, it's $1,500, $2,000. So I'd be like, I ask for $2,200 or $2,300, so they can work me back down, so I can get closer to that 2,000 mark or 1,800.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to my email real quick, because I have brokers who send me things in an email, and to see if I have capacity. Let me log into my email as well. So you negotiate your rate is 10%. So you charge a percentage as opposed to a flat rate for your dispatching services.
I was doing 10%, but you know, it's hard out here. It's competing with everybody, so I just said 8%. But I can't go no lower than 8%, unless you 2 or 3 trucks that I'm dispatching at one time.
Right. And I mean that's fair. And so you are looking at you're looking at competitive things in the market, and you're making those comparisons that way.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if this broker is. I got a broker over here in, I think this is in Houston, and he may be available. Jose?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, this Jose?
Who is this?
This is Exodus Dispatching. I got an email from you a while back about some loads. Do you still have any loads over there in the Houston area?
Yes, sir.
What equipment types do you need loads for? Like dry vans, flatbeds, or reefers?
Oh, we do it all, brother.
And do you mainly work out of Texas?
No, we work nationwide.
Okay. Okay.
Texas, you know, anywhere. We're based in Houston and Plains. So who's this again?
This is Charles with Exodus Dispatching. You sent me an email a while back in March, and we were conversating about a load that you were trying to get covered for pipes, about 700. Once I reached out to you, I think you had got it covered already. So I'm just reaching out to you because I've built my team up with carriers now. Reefers, flatbeds, and dry vans, and they're all over the country. So I'm just trying to reaching out to different brokers and seeing what lanes are you trying to get covered.
Oh man, it's everything, bro. There's no main. We're a broker.
I understand that.
So there's no main lanes, you know. So we're everywhere.
Okay, so you just are they spot market or are they dedicated?
Both.
Oh, you have dedicated lanes.
Yep.
Okay.
So what we do is, you know, if you're good, you know, and you keep up with your drivers, and you know you're on time, and give us the PODs as soon as you drop, you know, we'll continue to use you.
That's
right, and if you're reasonable on price.
Right, that's understandable.
So you can shoot me an email with your information.
Yeah, is your email still jmurillo@triderllc.com?
Yes, sir.
All right, I got the same email.
Yeah, and tell me what equipment you have.
Okay, and then I will tell you the number. I got the 3 major equipment types: dry vans, flatbed, and reefers. I got 10, 15, and 17 of each. What are your requirements?
We don't have any requirements as long as you have insurance, you have your W-9, and
MC authority.
Yep, we're good.
Okay.
set you up.
All right. I got a few carriers who just got their MCs like less than 90 days. Do you work with new carriers as well?
Yeah, we work with new carriers. That's what I meant by, we don't require any history on new.
Right. Now what I mean by new, they're new because they just became owner operators, but they were they were company drivers for like 20 years, so they know how to drive a truck.
Right. Yeah.
What about insurance? How much is your insurance?
So as long as you have insurance, most of these drivers have $1 million insurance.
Yeah, like $1 million
in cargo.
Yeah, 100,000 cargo, $1 million liability.
Yep.
Okay, because I've been hearing around the industry that they're getting ready to bump the liability up to $2 million.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah. I've been talking with people at OIDA and different trucking and transportation people. But yours is $1 million. That's fine. $1 million liability and 100,000 cargo. That's good. Okay. All right, Jose. It was a pleasure talking to you, man.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, I will shoot that email.
Just shoot me an email with your info and what I'm really trying to work on right now is dry vans.
Okay, that was my next question. I don't want to say it's a pain point, but I guess you're trying to get those. Those are the priority ones right now.
Right now, yeah, I'm working on this project, and I may need some dry vans. So, if you're reasonable on price, we're good. Like right now, how much would you charge to go to Westlake, Texas, or what is it?
Well, where's it picking up and where's it going? And I can put a quote in an email.
Houston to let me see. Houston to Baton Rouge.
Okay. And so it's a dry van. So is it a truckload? Is it like 45,000 pounds, or is it less? Or
let's just say less than 45.
Less than 45.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll shoot you a quote in that.
Okay.
Now, what do you with a dry van? What do you average cents per mile for a dry van? Like $1.95, $2 a mile, or do?
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere maybe around between 175 and 2.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably the industry standard right now on the price.
Yeah, but you have some that are ridiculously high, man, and I don't even bother to call them.
Right. Well, I'd rather stay with a broker to keep me steady at standard industry prices, and we just grow together, than me try to be greedy as a trucking company.
Yeah.
I'd rather work with you because slow and steady wins the race, right? So
exactly.
So between 175, I tell you what, between 175 and 2, I'll meet you halfway. We'll say like 185, 190 or something like that.
Okay.
And Houston, Texas to. So what's the commodity, if I may ask?
It'll be palletized oil field equipment.
Oh, okay, field equipment.
So yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'll send an email to you. I'm gonna reach out to my network of guys and say we got a connection here. And is this something that's steady, or this is like a long-term project, or?
So right now is they want somebody there, every Tuesday.
Okay.
And but we're still working, still ironing out the details.
Okay.
So just give me your info, and once I get more info, I can hit you up.
Okay, that'll work.
And then give me a quote for local too.
Okay,
like from Houston to Houston, and then Houston to Tomball.
Okay.
And then shoot me a quote from Houston to Beaumont.
Okay. Houston to Beaumont.
And Houston to Tomball.
Tomball. Okay.
All right. Give me,
Spell that Tomball one, please.
Tomball, Tomball.
Oh, Tomball. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Got it.
And give me a quote for dry van and your flatbed.
Okay, and for all those using the Tomball.
Correct. Yep.
Dry vans and flats. Okay.
Yep. And on the flatbeds as well, give me a quote on let's say just Jao, New Mexico.
All right. Houston.
Yeah, from Houston to Jao, New Mexico, and I can calculate from Houston to Vegas or to Midland, all those places by you giving me a price to Jao, New Mexico.
Yeah. See, because I know with flatbeds, I used to send people to like Odessa, Midland. They had a hard time getting out of. Do you have stuff coming out of there?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up.
I was saying that I used to send people to Midland and Odessa. They used to have a hard time getting out of there. Do you have stuff coming out of there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just want to be sure. I always like to hear the word backhaul.
Yeah.
It always.
Just let me know. Send me an email and give me that info in there, man. I can use you. And I can have my team use you if you're reasonable.
Okay. Yeah. I'd rather be reasonable and steady and try to be greedy. So.
Yep. And you'll be steady with us. So.
Okay. And the name of the brokerage is Tridler, right?
Tridler.
Yep. All righty. All right, Jose.
All right, buddy.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay.
All right. All right, guys. Robert, how was that conversation with the broker?
Bam! There you go.
Yeah. There you go. That's who else is on here? Tamarin, you guys hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. Love the way you negotiated that.
Yeah. So all we got to do now is he wanted some lanes quoted. The first one was so now this is where you educate yourself on understanding lanes, comparing it to the industry standard, and in order to get in with the book, because he's ready to work us. If we stay, he said, if you keep it fair, I'll keep you running. And obviously he runs out of Houston because he was saying Houston to Houston, Houston to Beaumont, Houston to Tomball, Houston down to Jao, New Mexico, then over to I think he said Midland. And he got one Houston to Baton Rouge. Most of them were dry vans, under 45,000 pounds. The commodity, I was asking for all types of stuff too. The commodity, palletized field equipment. So I got his information. So I may reach out to him. I may have you guys reach out to him. If you have carriers in that area, shoot me an email and I'll just pretty much send the contact information to you guys, just reference by name that, that way Jose will remember that he spoke to me, and then he'll say, okay, oh yeah, you work with Charles, and then go from there. So even if you don't have carriers over there, try to target carriers with equipment types that the broker is looking for. That's another strategy. If you talk to a broker and you don't have carriers in the area where you see this broker may have some good paying lanes, then look for carriers in that area and try to get them under a dispatch agreement, and then put that carrier in that lane, and that's just to be another way to generate income.
So what do you think about posting ads on Indeed?
What do I think about posting an ad on Indeed for truck drivers, for carriers?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a mixed feeling. Are you posting them on there for? Most Indeed ads are posted on it for carriers who want to work under a trucking company's authority, like looking for owner operators under. But as far as a dispatcher looking for carriers, I'm not sure if you're going to have much success with that. Now, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But when you see Indeed ads looking for owner-operators, they're usually from a trucking company side trying to get those carriers to come under their authority to run as company drivers, or at least on owner-operators. Because you could be an owner-operator but don't have an authority. You just lease under someone else's authority and run under their authority. But as far as a dispatcher trying to target carriers on Indeed, I'm not sure how much of a success rate that would be.
Okay. And when he said that the drivers were being unreasonable, they probably asking for about $253 a mile.
Yeah, over. They probably was asking for over industry standards. So let's do this. Let's go to look at the trend lines for that area for those equipment types, and that'll give us an idea of what the industry standards are, right? So you're familiar with DAT trend lines. It's a feature that, yes. Yeah, so for dry vans, the national rates for the dry vans, because he was saying $1.75 to $2. So in his area, he mainly works in the Southwest. He's based in Houston apparently, because everything he had was coming out of Houston. He must have, and he's a broker, so he must have a shipper that's based in Houston that he's pulling loads for. That's a dead giveaway. Every time he says Houston to here or Houston to there, he's telling you his shipper has a DC or is based out of Houston, and they're going to these different locations in Baton Rouge. They're not really far. They're less than like 500 miles or so. Houston to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that's probably the furthest, and everything else is Houston to Houston, or Houston to Tomball, Texas, Houston to Beaumont, Texas, Houston to Joliet, New Mexico, and then back up to Midland. So, but the average is $2.09. So we can quote him. I told him I'll meet him halfway at $190. But what I'll probably do I'll probably send him a screenshot of this and then quote him $2.05. Knock about 4 cents off. I got him at 190. So I think though, as a business strategy, and you trying to bring on new clients, new brokers, if I already gave him my word at 190, I probably should honor that, right? Just to get the business. And then as I prove myself with carriers, running loads and maintaining those loads and doing good jobs, deliveries, turning into BOLs, because he said, yeah, we got carriers turning to BOLs, we'll keep you running. So I probably should honor that 190 maybe for like 6 months to a year and then go up. Because I've already.
That's why you always had this pulled up before you talk to him.
Right. And that's cool. So that was the dry van. So now the flatbed, he didn't say anything about reefers. He just said dry vans and flatbeds. So look at the flatbeds. So now he said, quote me flatbeds going down to Houston to Joliet, New Mexico, and I think that was it. But the other ones, Houston to Houston, yeah.
Short haul runs. Houston to something, Beaumont. Houston to Beaumont is the short haul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the short haul would be a flat rate.
Right. The short hauls for the flat beds were Houston to Houston, Houston to Beaumont, and Houston to Tomball. So let's do this. For us as dispatchers to give ourselves those numbers, what we would do is we would see what this is. The starting point is 220 for a flatbed, 227. So what we would do is I would bring up a map, right, and I would get the distance. So let's say Houston to Beaumont. So what distance is that? That's 84 miles. That's a short run. So on a flatbed, at whatever rate we decide to charge, so 84 miles. So 85 miles times whatever we charge per mile, and remember the flat rate is 227. Let's say we charge 227. Let's just say we do. So now let's say $200. $200 to run from Houston to Beaumont with a flatbed, the short runs. Now it could be more, or we can have Tamarron go into that power and put that in for a flatbed and see what the rates are, because he has the ability to look at in that power and get that rate for that lane and compare those numbers as well.
Does he have time to do it right quick?
Tamarron, you have your DAP power pulled up?
I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, so just put Houston, Texas to Beaumont, Texas for a flatbed and see what the numbers are, because I'm sure it may be even higher than this 192.95. But this is a good teaching tool. It shows, based off the conversation with the broker, because those who are going to be dispatched, you're going to come across these types of conversations. They're going to want you to quote lanes for them, and you got to ask them, okay, what do you got? So everything you heard that broker mention, you may get a little bit more or a little bit less from other brokers, but you will hear all of this at some point in your dispatching journey.
I'd say that one would be probably about 350, 375.
Yeah, so what I usually do, I'll take this number and double it. Or at least 1.5, times 1.5, times 1.5. Let's say times 1.5. So 289. So if I doubled it, let's divide it by 1.5 and get back to 192. And then if we double it, so you're looking like 385, 400.
I got 259 to 451.
What, you got 259
to 451, but the average rate is 381.
381. So if we took the national, so what we did is took the 227 to 80 times 85, which gave us 192, and we doubled it, 385. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hello, this is Charles. All right. Okay, so we take so basically for short runs, you just double the amount. It seems like that power doubled the amount. It took the 227 per mile times the 85 miles. Let's go back. 227 per mile times the 85 miles, that distance in that lane, which is 192, and it just doubled it. And that gave us the median of that range that Tamarron just reported, 421, between 421 and 3 something. So that's that strategy. What about Tamarron? One more. What about Houston to Tomball, Texas?
Tomball, that's spelled Tomball.
I just put it in right there. Okay. So that's even shorter run. That's 36 miles for a flatbed. So 36 miles, Tomball, Tomball. So I'm gonna,
279.
Okay, so what we'll do is 36 times $2.27 a mile, and then we double that. If you double that, so if you triple that, it's not even close. There it is. You said 279?
Yep.
That's the average. So to help you guys figure out how to quote lanes from brokers, if you have software and tools to use, you put those lanes into your software and see what the numbers come up with, and then you take the average and give that broker a fair number to see if they will work with you, because especially if it's going to be steady work. So if the broker said we can keep you running, it's going to be steady, then, why wouldn't you? Now, for a dry van, Houston to, and I'm sorry, one more, I apologize. I don't want to over burn out your DAT power. Houston to Baton Rouge.
What's the information you done gave me? I'll do it all.
Houston to Baton Rouge is 268. 269. Let's say 270. Let's average it. 270. And now this is a dry van. Now it's not a flatbed. So let's go to the dry van rate. I think it was coming out of there is 209. So 209 times the 270 miles, $2.09 times the 270 miles. That's 564. I want to see what you come up with.
They saying average $3.07 a mile, $8.28 per trip.
Right, and that's a dry van.
Mm-hmm. They said it's 270 miles.
Yeah, that's what I did. 270 times to 209. So they marked it up by probably a couple of $100 there. It looks like.
They say averages from $2.40 to $3.66 on the high end.
Ah. So your averages in DAT power is a little bit higher than this DAT trend lines. That's what I'm gathering. Okay. But there you go, and that comes later when you're dealing with brokers, the conversation. It's good to hear it, and this is recorded. At least I hope I hit record. Yeah. Okay. So it's good to hear the conversation with the broker, to hear the lingo, to hear the dialogue between a dispatcher and a broker, and to understand that both parties understand each other's roles and what each other want and needs. So when you guys come across that experience, you will know exactly, or you will have an idea at least, your starting point and how to deal with it. You know, so I try to pride myself in talking or in training in a way to show you exactly what it is that you'll be doing yourself. So calling carriers live, doing that, calling brokers live, doing that, and there you go. Tamara asked the question, do you charge drivers extra for paperwork? Give me an example. The only paperwork that I do for the drivers is the carrier packets and the rate confirmations. That's included in the percentage that's charged. Now, if you're talking about extra paperwork as far as sending their invoice, well, let me ask you, what are you talking about on the paperwork side? What do you mean?
I'm talking about if they want you to send their invoice into the factory and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that has nothing to. Yeah, I would do that because that's not part of the initial dispatcher agreement. Because on our dispatcher agreement, it says all invoicing and collection of fees is the sole responsibility of the carrier. Now, I may later on add an extra line in there, but if you want us to do it, here is the additional cost of that, or here's the, so. Because I feel that it's the carrier's responsibility for the carrier to get paid, not the dispatcher, because the carrier is the one who hauled that load. The dispatcher found the load and kept the carrier running, so the dispatcher should get paid for that service. But if the carrier feels that the dispatcher can do extra to help them as far as, because they can do it faster because they're sitting at home in front of a computer or, and can fax things quicker while the carrier is just on the road, they'll send them a screenshot or a picture of the POD after they've delivered, and then you take that and upload it to their factory company. So I see what you're saying. So it can get done quicker because the carrier may be getting ready to go get another load. So while he's getting another load, he don't have to worry about whether or not he's going to get paid for the previous load. So, yeah.
So you don't even send the POD to the broker. All you do is just find them the load, and that's it.
Yeah, because in the dispatcher agreement, I don't know if you saw our dispatcher agreement, but it says, I'll take you to that. Forms and documents. Dispatcher agreement is highlighted here. Yeah, all billing, invoicing, and collections of revenues from customers, brokers, shippers, consignees, etc., are the sole responsibility of the carrier. if revenue for a shipment or shipments is uncollectible, and whoever the dispatcher is highlighted, just happens to be my name, will be held harmless and no penalty or deduction of fees will be made. So in other words, the dispatcher is not included in that process of the carrier getting paid from whoever owes that carrier, whether it's the broker, the direct shipper, whatever. Now, if you want to add another line and offer that extra service of handling the billing and the invoicing, that's just an extra task for your dispatching business. If you are able to handle that load, then by all means offer that service, but of course you want to get compensated for that service.
Do you have a non-compete agreement?
I do not at this point.
So you don't worry about the drivers like trying to go around you and get that with that broker or whoever?
I've had that happen to me one time in the 3 years that I've done it. A broker actually called me. Because I had a good relationship with the broker, and I put the driver in the lane of the broker. And after the driver did that load, he paid me, but then he went back and was saying, hey, I want to deal with you, on my own. He said, well, where's your dispatcher at? Well, I don't want to deal with him anymore, and blah, blah, blah. And even though he didn't tell me that, and there was no reason to tell me that, because I got on the load, everything was good. He got paid a decent amount, like $5,000, $5,100 load. So you would think if I got a carrier a $5,100 load for a 4-day trip, that sounds like it's a good load, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the broker called me because I've been dealing with the broker for So your carrier tried to book a load with me without you, right? So I called the carrier, and I didn't really confront him. I just asked him about it. Have you talked to the broker recently? No, what are you talking about? Yeah, he called me and said, you tried to book another load. I mean, that's fine, but I'm just saying, if you want to let me know that you don't want my services, just let me know. Because you're not obligated to use my dispatching services. We can sever ties at any time, And carriers have more than one dispatcher. So just because you have a carrier under a dispatcher agreement doesn't mean that the carrier cannot work with other dispatchers.
I got
right? Yeah, they are. Now, if you find them a load and they take that load and get set up with that broker and get the rate confirmation, they run that load, then they are obligated to pay, according to the agreement, they are obligated to pay you for that specific load. The same thing holds true if you get them under a dedicated lane, that they're running loads all the time under that dedicated lane that you set up with the broker and everything, then they're obligated to pay you for setting that up. That's why it's mentioned in this dispatch agreement, including dedicated lanes. So, but carriers do have more than, because if I was a carrier, I would have more than one dispatcher if I want to increase my chances of getting loads all the time. I wouldn't put my eggs in one basket unless that dispatcher is real good, that they're keeping me running all the time, dedicated lanes, et cetera, et cetera. But if I'm a carrier and I'm a businessman, then the more dispatchers I have, the more eyes are looking for loads for me, the greater my chances of getting loads. That's just the law of numbers, right? So it just makes sense to me to do it that way from a carrier's perspective. So, any questions?
What's the best way you think to get dedicated lane?
Starting out, working with the same brokers over and over again consistently, to the point where it'll open up for that broker, and they'll probably come across a shipper and say, "Hey, we're gonna have these. We just got on with this shipper that has year-round loads. They're coming out of here every day, going to the same place with backhaul, coming back, picking up a load, going like, let's say, picking up a load. Let's use this guy for example. Picking up a load in Houston, going to Baton Rouge, which is what was that? 298 miles, 270 miles. There's a load coming out of Houston going to Baton Rouge for a drive-in every day, and it's paying $700. That's a pretty good load because it's only 270 miles paying $700 for a dry van. Let's do the numbers on that. 700, 270. That's $2.60 a mile. That's not bad for a dry van. So, and you say that's coming out there every day. Do you got anything coming back? You got any backhaul coming back? We don't have backhaul, but we're trying to find you something. So you'll get the dedicated lane going out, but you won't get a backhaul. But you can find your own backhaul. As long as you get back to that money, though, you should be fine. Marcelo asked about what about Amazon Relay? Amazon is trying to revolutionize the industry. They are taking on owner-operators with power-only tractors and no trailers, where you drop and hook their trailers, or you do what's called load-outs or towaways with their trailers, their loaded trailers or their empty trailers. You can take their empty trailers. You can get set up with Amazon by going to relay.amazon.com. If you have your own trailer, I believe there was a case where, I could be wrong on this, where they try to wrap their logo around your trailer in order for you to work with them. So, how do you get contracts for dedicated with Amazon? You're asking, Tamara?
No. How do you do your contracts for dedicated, like for us to drive? I mean, is that different from like him going one place? I mean, do you write your contract up different so you making sure you get paid every week for that dedicated lane?
Well, the original dispatcher agreement mentions including dedicated lane, but you can also add an additional contract in there since you let the driver know, okay, well, I got a dedicated lane now, so I'm going to be invoicing you a little bit differently because this is a dedicated lane. It's not a spot market load that I just found for you, like a one-off I just found for you. This is a dedicated lane, so I'm going to be I can either do a weekly settlement for you for the dedicated lane. Like say you get a dedicated lane and you get 3 loads a week going out to back and forth, 3 loads a week. So you can either invoice them for each load on that dedicated lane, or you can total those loads up, add them all up, and then give them a weekly settlement invoice at the end of the week. The numbers are going to be the same. And the driver might say, okay, yeah, just invoice me the end of the week. So it might be like $1,500. So you just send them on Friday, send them as opposed to $500 per load, just send them a $1,500 invoice at the end of the week. And then if you see that's working out, you put another driver in that same dedicated lane with the same equipment type of the previous driver and do the same thing. So now $1,500 a week turns into $3,000 a week. And then you do it again with another driver. So now $3,000 a week turns into $4,500 a week. If you are, you know what I'm saying, if you could scale your business like that, but again, it starts with one driver. You know, get that one broker locked in, that dedicated lane locked in, and then get that relationship built with that broker and stuff, and then scale your business accordingly. But you want to establish that foundation first. So, Lee said, I'm still waiting on you to provide a carrier to, subcontractor. Yeah, can you provide a timeline date when I likely expect to receive? Okay, yeah, the carriers, my carriers, whom I'm calling, I'll be honest with you, time is my worst enemy. I haven't had as much time to deal with that. Contacting my carriers, the ones that I've worked with years ago, seeing where they are as far as dispatching, if they're still even driving, things like that, and where are they, and are they ready for me to jump back in, and then me assigning specific carriers to those, because there's a ton of individuals on this platform who want to participate in the sub-dispatcher that I offer. So what that means for those who do not know, like Tamarin, is I have carriers that I used to dispatch for that I still have under a dispatcher agreement and who reach out to me every now and then just to see how I'm doing. They don't really ask about dispatching, but we still stay connected. So what I was offering for those who are on the platform who are having a difficult time finding carriers to offer my carriers for a 50-50 split. You know, I give you the carriers, that way you don't have to worry about getting a dispatcher agreement and profile back from them. I'll give you copies of their W-9 MC Authority certificate of insurance, so you can have that at your disposal when you find the loads for them and book those loads, and then we split the profits, the percentage. The first 30, maybe 60 days, it'll be 50-50, and then as you prove that you can keep that carrier running, even though it's my carrier based off a dispatch agreement, you will get more of the percentage. So let's say after 30 or 60 days, we're doing 50-50, and you keeping that carrier running. So now I would say, okay, well, let's do 70-30. You keep 70% and you send me 30%. And at some point, you're going to get used to doing that, and you're going to find your own carriers. And you're going to say, Charles, I'm ready to move on. I got my own carriers. I don't really need to use your carriers now. So the purpose of the subcontractor or the sub-dispatcher agreement is to assist those in learning the process, finding loads, booking loads, getting used to that whole workflow using my carriers or using someone else's carriers. And then once you get to the place where you're comfortable finding your own carriers and you want to do it yourself and keep 100% of your of the percentage or the service fee. But it's kind of like training wheels, kind of holding your hand. You get carriers to start with, training wheels, and then you find your own carriers and you can go from there. So what I may do is just start fresh in some of the trainings and just start calling carriers from the beginning, getting them under a dispatcher agreement with Exodus, and then assigning those carriers to dispatchers who are in this platform who I believe have the ability to find loads and understand, because I don't want to give a carrier a dispatcher who I believe is not ready to really book the loads for them. You know, I don't want to set nobody up for failure like that. But if you feel you're ready, the platform is still here to help you. You may feel you're ready, and I'll give them to you. But if you have trouble, you can still reach out to the network, and we'll still help you in that process to book the load. You know, you get stuck somewhere, you don't understand something, but there should be enough training, enough videos. You know, I go over this stuff a lot that, you know, at some point it's going to click, right? You guys are going to have that aha moment. A lot of people have had that, so yeah. But forgive me for taking longer than I normally would, Z. It's just that, you know, a lot of things been going on. There's a lot of time. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. I just got over losing my mom too, but back on July 4th. But yeah, it's coming down the pipeline. I just ask for your patience. But in the meantime, I sincerely hope that you are still exercising those strategies and techniques to find the carriers yourself, though, right? You're still doing the strategies that we go over as far as looking for carriers. The truck search features of Truckers Path, going to directly to the truck stops in your area, 25-mile radius or what have you. Right. So Tamara said, I have a hard time getting carriers to send dispatcher agreement back. So what I used to do with my follow-ups is I would do it maybe twice a week. Like I'll send a dispatcher agreement out, and then I'll wait for a few days and then do a follow-up, either a call or an email asking for it. If I don't hear anything back from them within a week's time, I'll move on to the next carrier, because I'm of the philosophy that if a carrier really needs your services, they're going to get back with you. If the carrier is just pulling your leg, they're going to slow walk you. So I would rather use my time going after it, because eventually you're going to get a carrier who really wants your service. So, and they'll show it to you by sending that dispatch agreement back immediately, like next day. I had a carrier send me one back same day. Now, granted, he was a hotshot carrier, but a carrier nonetheless. But you want to get dispatcher agreements back from carriers who are dry vans, flatbeds, and reefer carriers, because those are the three major ones. He said, but I like how you got it on you. Oh, yeah. It makes it easier. So that's another thing, too, for your dispatching business, guys. If you are, if you have a website for your business, if you're setting up your dispatching business and you have a website, then why not incorporate your dispatcher agreement and profile on the website? Like right here, for example, I have a dispatcher agreement form. I use the Wix.com platform to build my website on. All the content and everything, video, I put on myself. But I got an Epic Builder form. This is a dispatch agreement where the carrier can go online and fill it out, date it, check the box, upload the files that you need. Please upload copies of W-9, MC Authority, things like that. And then they can sign it, and then I hit clear, hit submit, and it'll sync to your business email. So if I do this, it's going to send a copy to my business email saying that someone just did a dispatcher agreement. And the same is true for a profile. The same thing. It's an online form where they can fill it out. So what you can do is essentially copy the link and then either paste it in a text message or in an email to send to the carrier. And while they're sitting at a loading dock being loaded or unloaded after you've talked to them, they can just fill it out right there. It's convenient, and then send it back. So it makes the process, it streamlines the process a little bit quicker for you. So, but that comes later. Like if you are just a beginner dispatcher and you haven't gotten your website up and your company started, then obviously you will just send an email. You will attach the PDF of the dispatch agreement and the PDF of the profile sheet to an email and send it to your carrier, and do it that way. And then as you advance a little bit further, you will attach a PDF of the dispatch agreement and the profile that's a edited DocuSign format of it. In other words, you send them a PDF, it's a DocuSign PDF, so when they open it up, they can click the field that you made editable and then go from on the dispatch agreement. Oh, when you saw it, I think I know what you're talking about. Dispatch agreement. Just extra notes. They can add some comments there, right here. Yeah, terms and conditions. Just extra notes. They want to add some comments, but their name is going up here. Their name, or the name of their trucking company, their MC. Please list MC, DOT, truck, and trailer number. So you're getting all that information right there, because for those of you who've booked loads, you know that you're going to need that when you sign the rate com, because most brokers ask for that because they need to identify that truck while it's under a load for them. So, and then the carriers put their where they're based out of, their street address, city, state, and zip, country, their email address, their phone number, and in terms and conditions, they're going to read over that. They may have, and they're going to upload the documents that you asked for, which is right here, that you need. You're going to always need these. Tamara can speak on this. Most brokers, if not all, always ask for at least 3, if not 4, of those documents: the W-9, MC Authority letter, and the certificate of insurance. And in some cases, the NOA, the notice of assignment, if your carrier has a factory company. But the W-9, because they need to see that EIN associated with the business. The MC Authority letter, they want to make sure that your carrier is authorized to transport freight either in the state or across state lines via the FMCSA or DOT. And the certificate of insurance to make sure that your carrier meets their requirements for insurance. Like we just conversated with the broker, $100,000 cargo, and $1 million liability. And to be asked to put on the insurance. So what Tamara just mentioned is, was that Tamara, I think it was, asked to be put on the insurance? Yeah, because most brokers will be asked to be made a certificate holder. So what that means is, let's go to an example of that. And I went over this before, I believe, but we can always repeat stuff on here is very good because it just reinforces. So on a certificate of insurance, at the bottom, you'll see this box that says certificate holder. So what you would do as a dispatcher, because you are the middle person between your carrier and that broker. So if you get a broker that you're setting up your carrier with on a load to get them set up under that brokerage for that load and future loads, the broker's going to say, by the way, yeah, we need to be made, we need to be listed as a certificate holder for your carrier on the certificate of insurance. So on that policy, you'll call the agent. Let's say it's Progressive. Call the agent John Doe and call the number, fax them, whatever. Say, hey, I need to be, I need a certificate holder for my carrier I need a certificate of insurance listing the following as a certificate holder. The first thing they're going to do is ask you for the policy number because they're just not going to give you a certificate of insurance listing a brokerage as a certificate holder without verifying that it's one of their clients, right? And that's a fair thing to do because, you know, why would they, right? So you give them the policy number, they verify. They may even call your carrier. Your carrier says, yeah, that's my dispatcher. Yeah, go ahead and finish that process. And then they'll say, okay, what's the name of the brokerage? ABC Brokerage, 123 Main Street, anywhere USA, 12345. They're going to put the name of the brokerage, the street address, city, state, and zip in this box. And the agent, the insurance agent, is going to ask you, who do I need to fax or email this to? Of course, you have them email it to the broker or fax it to the broker, and then CC you a copy of that. That way you kill two birds with one stone. Is that how you do it, Tamara? There you go. So I just needed to hear confirmation from someone who does it to reinforce what I'm teaching you guys. So what I'm showing you guys and telling you guys, other people are actually doing it. So I just want to reinforce that because Tamron has trucks. He has 3 carriers. He's booking loads. And he mentioned this certificate of insurance with a certificate holder. And that's the same process he uses. So, but you'll come across that as you begin to book loads. I need to really focus on calling carriers and getting them set up through Exodus and then assigning these carriers, leveraging them through you guys. Even if you can't find the carrier loads, at least you go through the experience of trying to find them loads, looking on the load boards, going through that process of learning how to book loads. You at least learn that experience, if not make money at the same time by doing it with my carriers under the sub-dispatcher agreement. So you're gonna, it's a win-win. So I need to really focus on. I think in the next training I'm gonna just start focusing on just calling carriers. I'm gonna call carriers from here on out. Just start calling carriers, try to get them set up, and then once they send back the dispatch agreement, I'm gonna start manually assigning them to those individuals who are members of the subscription-based training and who filled out the sub-dispatcher form right here, sub-dispatcher form, and just start us. I'm going to backdate it too for the one who recently did it. So sub-dispatchers, those who are members of the platform, and then go from there. So I think 123 Load Board have the best rates. Yes, they do. That sounds cool. Thanks. So yeah, by me calling the carriers, starting to get them to send them back a dispatch agreement, because I'll just send them a link to my online form. They'll fill it out, send it back to me. Then I'm saying, hey, I'm going to assign you. This is the person. Z is going to be the one managing loads for you, or Marcelo's is going to be the one managing loads for you. Marcelo's is going to be the one. I'm going to focus on Latino and Spanish-speaking carriers with Marcelo. That way we can have bilingual dispatchers as well. Because it's going to come a point where a shipper's going to ask or a broker's going to ask, do you have any bilingual dispatchers? And we will. So, all right, guys. I'm going to cut this one short tonight. If there's any more questions, or if there are not any more questions, I should say. So next, let's see. I'm having, this Saturday, I'm having a Dispatcher 101 training seminar for those who are non-members, but you have to register for that. You guys are members, so you get training every week, twice a week. But those who are non-members can register for that and get all these tools, resources, ebooks, and stuff for that. And then this Sunday, I'm having a freight broker seminar at 2 o'clock for non-members to do that. But this Sunday also at 11 a.m. is going to be our training, the dispatcher training, 11 to 1. And then at 2 o'clock, I'm going to have the freight broker training. So there you go. Enjoyed the conversation with the broker. I got his information. We can easily send him lane quotes. You guys kind of got an idea of that process. Looking forward, Tamron, at least considering coming on board, joining our Facebook private chat group, Dispatcher 101, where we share loads and share ideas with each other, kind of a family thing, ask questions there. That's where the most traffic is. As a matter of fact, if you are still on, I will show you that Facebook Dispatcher 101 people are asking to join Freight Broker 101. We have a Dispatcher 101 private chat right here. People are talking in the chat. It's just dialogue back and forth. That's what I mean by that. So let's see, who asked the question? Can I get link to check out Freight Broker's seminar? You enrolled in this. Let me think on that one, Z. All right. Remind me Friday, because the link is for those who are non-members but just want to get some freight broker entry-level training. The link is to register, and it's to register for that training, that 2 to 3 hour training on Sunday, this Sunday. So see that there. Let me see. That's the link to register. And the link to register for you're already in Dispatcher 101, so you're already a student. So you don't need to register for the $99. You're pretty much getting that every week, what the non-members are going to get in one day. So that dispatcher side is fine, but the freight broker side, if you have any questions about that, that was the one to register there. So, okay. All right, guys. I think that's it for this evening. I enjoyed your company. Hopefully I answered questions. And for those who are members here, I will see you guys Sunday. All right? Of course, you guys have my contact information, so reach out to me. All right, see you Sunday at 11 Eastern.